They gave a fancy dinner at the St. James Hotel and presented me with a gold watch inscribed to Detective Sergeant Marvin Hines for 35 years of dedicated service to the city of Red Wing. That was about the time they first started talking about Minnesota's basketball team might go south to New Orleans. Imagine the Wolves playing down there. My last case was the only time I ever got shot. Oh, I was shot at a couple of times, but I was never hit before. And besides me, there were at least 3 more casualties, 2 of them fatal. It all started when this theater company came to town to do a week of Shakespeare.
What's the matter, honey? Bad dreams?
I don't know why, but it all started last summer. I don't understand. It seems to be happening more often now.
I don't know why, but ever since last summer, I don't understand. But it happens more often.
Hardly a night goes by that it doesn't come back.
Listen, why can't you just forget about it? It was a fucking accident. For God's sake, you didn't mean to kill him. Look on the bright side. You stopped drinking, right?
I don't get it. I didn't think about it for years. Well, maybe once in a while if somebody mentioned Ashland. Last August, right after Mickey's kid. What was her name?
Shirley, as you well know.
Yeah, surely. It was right after she died. That's when it started.
First, it was only about once a month, then 2, 3 times. Now I'm afraid to shut my eyes.
Let's go back to bed and cuddle like we used to.
You don't think I had anything to do with Shirley Callahan? My God, she was just a kid.
Just a kid, all right. They said she was pregnant.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay. But if I ever hear you're untrue to me, baby, I'll make sure you don't do no good for nobody ever. And that's a promise.
I am ashamed of you, Mr. Weezer, and you too, Counselor. If I hear one more outburst like that, the contempt citation I place on you Well, you won't be practicing law again in this century. Now, can we get on with this? And try to remember, this is a court of law, not a name-calling contest.
Can you tell us exactly what you mean by a dissociative state?
It is an essentially unconscious psychological splitting mechanism that defends against emotional distress and softens the impact of the threatening situation. The accused, Mr. Morgan, ordinarily a rational person, failed to recognize the obvious in a fashion totally at odds with his characteristic behavior and fundamental beliefs.
Are you saying Mr. Morgan did not know what he was doing? He's not pleading insanity. He just claims he doesn't remember.
And he doesn't. He wasn't there at the time, not mentally anyway. A dissociative state is a psychological defense mechanism. It will allay anxiety but does not eliminate its causes. An acute and potentially lethal dissociation occurred when he discovered that his survival depended upon reconciling the irreconcilable. His mind left the scene, taking with it judgment and restraint. Primordial instinct then directed his behavior. It was as if a different person took over his entire being and used it as an instrument to kill.
Miss Berkowitz, we have more questions.
Union's gonna certainly hear about this. It's not the property master's job to hang these damn posters.
Mr. Warfield, we've been at the sauce again, have we? You know what Hess said. If it happens again, I was to terminate your employment with the company.
That must have been from before.
Well, consider this your lucky day.
Ah, come on. David's never missed a cue yet. Ease up.
A stage manager is not paid to ease up.
When will we get our checks?
You get paid after the last show. You men be careful up there.
Say, Michael.
Yeah?
You were at the Ashland Festival once with Barrett, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, a long time ago. I was still in school.
Do you remember an actor named Tony? Tony.
Do you mean Tony Cancino?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, he died. It was at the cast party. He was drunk. He fell. Some sort of accident. Why?
No special reason. Just heard he used to work with Barrett.
Oh, if you're looking to dig up some dirt on Barrett, more power to you. That asshole could have fixed it so that I could have played Iago and a lot of the other big parts while you were gone. But no, he goes into Hess and tells him that I'm not quite ready for it yet. So they bring in some Aunt Fanny who minces all around the place. It would have made a great Cordelia.
Hey, but what about this Tony Cancino guy here?
Oh, Tony?
No.
Oh, well, he was a real Tinkerbell, all right. But Charlotte Hamilton married Frederick K. Barrett right after that, and that pretty well ended his experimentation along alternative lifestyles, if you know what I mean. She kept his family jewels locked up in a double-bolted super safe, although last summer he was sniffing around after Mickey Callahan's daughter. But you had her tied up. Sorry about that, Bo, old buddy. I guess it wasn't the right thing to say, but brain in gear, mouth in motion, one or the other not working right.
Mr. Barrett, some of the members of the company have told me that you know some wonderful speech exercises. Would you?
Oh, of course, my dear. I'm always glad to pass on any knowledge of the profession I've gleaned over the years.
Mr. Barrett, your wife would like to see you right away. She's in her dressing room.
I'll be right there. There wasn't much blood last time.
Well, there'll be plenty of blood next time.
There was a time all that mattered was the acting. Now they demand special effects, even for Shakespeare.
No, absolutely not. What are you thinking of? It's bad enough that slimy snake talked Hess into letting him come back.
Listen, if we don't, he'll tell what happened in Ashland. Do you want that? There's no statute of limitations on something like this.
To give Beaumont Fletcher equal billing. My God. First thing you know, he'll have all the leading roles. Oh, I see. He'll be your leading man. Perhaps he already is. I tried to look the other way with Hess. But Fletcher, he's young, he's good looking.
Don't be any more ridiculous than you already are. Look, what's the alternative? At least we're working, and if Jonathan likes me enough to keep pouring money into a company that hasn't made a profit in years, well, that's my little sacrifice. The least you can do is to share a little of your glory to keep us working.
But the posters are all out.
Okay. Charlotte and Freddie have agreed to give the boy a chance. But for tonight, anyway, we're going to leave things just as they are. Don't talk to Charlotte about this until I'm gone. Tonight, I'll be in New York if you need to talk to me about anything. Tomorrow, I'll be in London. You have my numbers. Can't stop now. Got to catch a plane.
Jonathan, you weren't going to go without saying goodbye now, were you? Don't want to miss your plane.
Here's your shirt, Mr. Callahan.
Thanks, Holly. How much do I owe you?
Oh, nothing. I was glad to do it. It just took me a minute. she was so nice. It was so sad to hear what happened to her. The accident, I mean.
Yeah, but it was no accident. That son of a bitch as much as murdered her.
Why, what do you mean? She took too many pills or something?
Why'd she do that? I'll tell you. That bastard Fletcher. No, he can't leave well enough alone. He's got to come back here and remind me. She was a good girl till that devil got to her. I could never prove nothing. But I'm sure it was him that got her pregnant and then ran off and left her hanging.
He got a part in a movie. I thought that's why he left.
Yeah, it was my fault. I never was no good as a father. But she could have come to me. I just stood by her, took care of her. But she never did like me very much. She always took her mother's side and everything. Well, thanks for the shirt, Holly. I've got things to do.
What do you mean she can't go on tonight?
But she's sick, really sick. I've called the doctor. She's at the motel.
She must be. She'd go on with 2 broken legs before she'd give an understudy a chance to show her up.
Tell May she's playing Desdemona tonight. Quick, move!
Here, you don't want to forget this.
Ah, the fatal prop.
I didn't know Shirley was pregnant. And I came back here because the great Jonathan Hess personally asked me to. And my big career move to the silver screen wasn't exactly paying the bills.
It's just that Callahan, well, he blames you, and if you just talk to him about it, it might help to ease his mind.
Holly, why don't you stick to your needle and thread and keep your nose out of other people's business? I got nothing to say to that old... Hey, look. When you and I had our little fling, you got over it, right? No big deal? Of course, you were smart enough not to get pregnant. Anyway, how could Callahan or anybody else know that I was the daddy?
That's it?
Stand by. House lights. Curtain.
Tush, never tell me. I take it much unkindly that thou, Iago, who has had my purse as if the strings were thine, should know of this.
'Tis blood, but you'll not hear from me.
If ever I did dream of such a matter, abhor me.
Thou toldst me thou didst hold him in thy hate.
Despise me if I do not. 3 great ones from the city, in personal suit to make me his lieutenant, off cap to him. And by the faith of man, I know my price. I deserve no worse a place.
Libby. Do not wait.
Bring him away. Mine's not an idle cause.
It's
the
going
Duke
well
himself
tonight.
or any of my
We'll see how
brothers
you
or
do
his
as Iago next time
cannot
out.
but feel this wrong as 'twere their own. For if such actions may have passage free.
That handkerchief did an Egyptian to my mother.
Where the hell's May? Where is that girl?
And could almost read the thoughts of her.
Those vocal exercises.
He told her
She's lost her
while she
voice.
kept it,
Holly,
make her
this is your
amiable
big chance. The costume
and
ought to fit you
subdue
perfectly.
my father
No, I
entirely
couldn't.
to her love. But if she lost it,
May, you're gonna miss
or
your
made a
cue.
gift of it, my father's eye should hold her local, and his spirits should hunt after you. Was not that Cassio parted from my mother?
No, sure. I cannot think it. That he would steal away guilty like upon seeing your coming.
I do believe 'twas he.
How now, my lord? I have been talking with a suitor here, a man that languishes in your displeasure.
Who is it you mean?
Why, your lieutenant, Cassio. Good my lord.
If I have any grace or power to move you, his present reconciliation take.
Now, you call me any time. You know my wife and I are great fans of yours, Miss Hamilton. But you must be more careful. This is potent medicine.
Guess I've been pretty forgetful lately. Thank you, Doctor.
Five minutes till curtain act 3.
Yes, Miss Hamilton. May's doing really well as Desdemona tonight. Mr. Barrett's never done Othello better. No, really, he's inspired. Fletcher's playing Iago as always. Miss Hamilton? Are you there?
And have you mercy too? I never did offend you in my life, never loved Cassio, but with such general warranty of heaven as I might love, I never gave him token.
By heaven, I saw my handkerchief in his hand. O perjured woman, thou dost stone my heart, and makest me call what I intend to do a murder, which I thought a sacrifice. I saw the handkerchief.
He found it then. I never gave it to him. Send for him hither. Let him confess the truth.
He hath confessed
What, my lord?
that he hath used thee.
How? Unlawfully?
Aye.
He will not say so.
No, its mouth is stopped. Honest Iago hath taken order for it.
Oh, my fear interprets. What? Is he dead?
Had all his hairs been lives, My great revenge had stomach for them all. Out, trumpet! Weepest for him before my face.
Oh, banish me, my lord, but kill me not.
Down, strumpet!
Kill me tomorrow, let me live tonight.
Nay, if you strive.
But half an hour.
Being done, there is no pause.
While I say one prayer.
It is too late. Soft, you. A word or two before you go. I have done the state some service, and they know it. But no more of that. I pray you, in your letters, when you shall these unlucky deeds relate, speak of me as I am. Nothing extenuate, nor set down aught in malice. Then must you speak of one who loved not wisely, but too well. No more of that. I pray you.
Yes.
In your letters.
Yes, Mr. Hess.
Shall these
Mr. Barrett's been fantastic tonight.
speak of me as I am.
God, it is such an incredible honor to be part of this. Mr.
Nor set
Fletcher's
down
been
aught
great
in
too. He's fairly dripping with evil.
must you speak of one that
No,
loved
Charlotte's
not
not playing Desdemona tonight.
but too well.
May is. Well, you know I tried to call you about that.
But being wrought,
No, Charlotte's at the motel. The doctor said she just took a little too much medicine. It's just a temporary thing. No, she'll be back on boards tomorrow. Oh, can I call you back? I've got a cue coming up. Don't worry, Mr. Hess, bye.
one who is subdued eyes, of one not easily jealous, but being wrought, perplexed to the extreme, of one whose hand, like the base Judean, threw a pearl away, richer than all his tribe, of one whose subdued eyes, albeit unused to this melting mood, drop tears as fast as the Arabian trees their medicinable gum, and set you down this, and say besides that in Aleppo once, where a malignant and turbaned Turk beat a Venetian and traduced the state, I took by the throat the circumcised dog and smote him thus. Kiss thee, ere I kill. No more of this. Telling myself to die upon it.
O Spartan dog, more anguish, hunger of the sea, look upon the tragic loading of this bed. This is thy work. Myself will straight aboard, and to the state this heavy act with heavy heart relate.
Hines. Say what? Nobody leaves. He's dead. Move it, kid. We got a 1033 for a 1072 at the Shelton. Let's go. Will you get your act together? Don't nobody touch nothing.
The cops are here. I hope they don't look in the dressing room.
Egad, the revenuers are here.
Nobody leaves till we see what we got here.
All right, Sarge.
Well, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over 500 people saw him do it. Yes, sir. The coroner's got the body, and I understand he's doing the autopsy as the law prescribed. Accident, suicide, or whatever. Thank you, sir. That was the Attorney General. Seems that the governor has met Frederick Keene Barrett. Doesn't believe he killed himself or died by accident. Says a pro like him wouldn't accidentally kill himself with a trick knife. We sent him down some hotshot homicide expert. B.J. Berkowitz wants us to give him our full cooperation. You suppose he's a relative of that Congressman Berkowitz, the one that was... Come in.
Sorry to interrupt, Chief.
It's okay. Thanks, Becky.
A B.J. Berkowitz to see you, Chief.
Well, I'll tell you, at the time, if I'd have known what was going to walk through the door the next minute, I'd have pretty near given up my badge and my gun. Hell, even my pension.
But his office tells me they haven't been able to reach him. They'll get back to me.
Well, Equity wants to know, and as the official union deputy, it's important.
Look, when we couldn't put the show on in Madison last year because the truck with the costumes and the scenery went off the road and into the river, we couldn't reach Hess then. And we took a vote, and the company decided to put the show on in modern dress with a bare stage, and when Hess got back, he was thrilled. So what's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem?
Yes, I suppose Freddie would have wanted us to go on.
Now that's the old showbiz spirit.
Look here now, we're talking about a great actor's death, not a bunch of lost sets and costumes.
I'd like to see your notes from last night.
Look, the button got caught in the hilt. It's no big deal. Instead of the blade going back like it was supposed to, it jammed. I guess with all the arm swinging he did in that fancy costume and all, it just jammed and hooked up. No big deal. It's a fluke.
We have a lab in the cities. They'll check it out. Let's get a search warrant. You sealed up the theater, right?
There's no need for that. It was just an accident. Things happen. If somebody did tamper with the dagger, we've got it and the button. So, what's to investigate?
If it was murder,
The smaller the detail, the more likely it is the perpetrator overlooked it. Be patient with me, Sergeant. There are some questions or answers I'd like cleared up. I want you to do the interrogation. I'll watch you do the talking.
Good cop, bad cop? When did you realize that Barrett had stabbed himself?
Well, I guess it was when he didn't make his curtain call. You see, everyone else in the cast takes the first curtain. Then, when the curtain goes up a second time, Mr. Barrett comes to the center of the stage and he takes his bow.
Do you know anybody who hated him enough to want him dead?
Are you serious? A lot of people say things. You know, I've only been with the company a couple of years, but, well, these people, most of them go back with each other for years and years. Shakespeare in this country is kind of a small family. And actors being what they are, well, resentments can build up. I heard tell that Holly Grant, the woman who handles the costumes with the company, she knew Mr. Barrett years ago, before he married Charlotte Hamilton. They had a thing. I don't know. In fact, Mr. Barrett got her job when Mr. Hess started this company. I guess she couldn't cut it as an actress, and, well, she needed the work, and maybe anything's possible in the theater. Maybe Mr. Barrett wanted to call it off, and Holly didn't want the relationship to end, even if she did have to share him with his wife. It's worth checking out, Sergeant.
Sure, I'm a competitive guy. It's a tough racket. You gotta be pretty thick-skinned. A lot of rejection involved. You know, interviews, auditions. You hear no a whole lot more than you hear yes. It's true, I considered Barrett to be a rival. Just like any other actor who's trying to get ahead. Everybody wants to play the lead. Of course, I would have replaced him just by sticking around. Everybody could see that he was slipping. Of course, I gotta admit, that last performance sure was a piece of work. Say, you don't think I had anything to do with this? I couldn't. A lot of people had a bone to pick with old Freddie. You check out that prop guy, Callahan. He really hated Freddie.
Well, God, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I mean, really, it was such a shock. A man like that killing himself?
Nobody said anything about Barrett killing himself.
Oh, don't you remember Ronald Coleman in A Double Life? He won an Academy Award. And not Freddie. Ronald Coleman did. He was playing the part of this great actor, Anthony Johns. Ronald Coleman was, that is. And Anthony Johns was, that is, playing Othello, and he'd murdered this waitress, Shelley Winters, and he was afraid he was going to get caught, and so he killed himself, just like Freddie. Mr. Barrett in that last scene cried like a baby. Not now, but when Ronald Coleman stabbed himself.
Aliens, that's what. I mean, Mr. Barrett, too. You could tell he was one. They probably came down from an alien planet and offed him before he could tell.
Somebody die?
No, Sergeant. Everybody looked up to Freddie. He was so wonderful. No one would... Well, not that it's enough to murder anybody, but last summer I did hear Bobby, that's Bobby Stern, tell Jonathan, our producer, that perhaps it's time to find a younger leading man. No. Fletcher. Beaumont Fletcher. He wanted equal billing with Freddie, but Freddie wouldn't hear of it. For that rotten... Oh, Sergeant, if anybody would... But no, he doesn't have the guts. He's spineless. But, Sergeant, last summer, Mickey Callahan, that's our prop man, his daughter was pregnant. Not that Freddie had anything to do with it, but perhaps he thought Freddie was the father, and... Oh, Callahan would have the balls to do so. Excuse me. Callahan would have the nerve to do something like this. He'd do it in a New York minute.
I don't get it. He's really, like, dead? I thought it was all publicity for, to sell tickets.
My money'd go on Barrett's old lady. That bitch Hamilton probably caught him in the sack with some guy. But if she did do it, I mean with a knife, she'd probably castrate him first. That'd be more her style.
Rach, sorry. Oh, my God.
Why don't you watch where you're going, you big O?
Sorry, Miss Collins.
You know my name.
Well, sure.
Would you come in, please?
Well, everybody looked up to him. Well, not everybody. There were a couple of people in the company who were, well, jealous, but that's only natural, you know. Competition in the theater is, well, comes with the territory. But to do anything, well, nobody would want Mr. Barrett dead. Surely, Sergeant Hines.
Who were they?
Who were who?
You said a couple of people in the company were jealous. Who'd you mean?
Oh, I didn't mean anybody in particular. Just in the heat of the moment, people say things, you know.
Yeah. Like what?
Look, I didn't mean anyone. People say things when they get mad. And it happens. Some actors are sensitive, high-strung, understand?
Sure. But you said a couple of people in the company were jealous.
It was a figure of speech. I didn't mean anything by it. Any one person. Can I go now? I have an appointment.
Yeah, you can go now. Just don't leave town without telling us, okay?
I didn't do it, but I'd shake the hand of whoever done it. Now, Barrett was a conceited, arrogant skunk. He tried to make time with every female that was around as long as his wife wasn't anywhere near. Of course, that Fletcher. Now, there's a guy who thought all females were put on this earth for his own personal, private pleasure. Why, that SOB'd screw a snake if he could get somebody to hold its head still for him. Maybe that's it. The competition was too much, so Fletcher done him in. How's that for a theory, Sergeant?
Miss Grant, we know you and Barrett had a close relationship before he was married. What I'd like you to tell us, seeing as you'd know better than anybody, being as close and all, was, do you know of anybody who'd want to see Barrett out of the picture?
I don't know what you mean. I mean, Mr. Barrett got me the job I have with the company now, but I've known him a long time. And Mrs. Barrett, Charlotte, I met them at the Ashland Festival in Oregon, but I don't know anyone who'd want to kill Mr. Mr. Barrett.
The spokesman has said no peace in sight for Laszlo Pino. This just in, actor Frederick Keene Barrett has died. The Shakespearean actor whose major theatrical claim to fame was the Broadway production of Macbeth a few years ago, produced by Jonathan Hess. But in recent years, his career seems to have become a rather lackluster one. He was on tour with the Shakespearean Repertory Company, also co-starring Charlotte Hamilton and produced by Jonathan Hess. Our reporter, Margot Tesh, caught Mr. Hess at the airport, just back from his latest production in London. Take it away, Margot.
How has the death of Mr. Barrett affected you, Mr. Hess? How do you feel?
What kind of a question was that? How do you think I feel, you reporters? Let me tell you how I feel. I'd like to punch you right in the nose, you insensitive moron.
And back to you, Jack.
Sure, please do. Hi, what a nice surprise. It's so good to hear from you. Who told you where I was? Oh, sure, good old Skippy. Mom, don't start.
Well, I worry about you and that career of yours. Oh, I don't know, with all your attributes.
brains, looks, and everything else, why you'd want to be a police person.
Mother, please. I may have gone into law enforcement because of what happened to Daddy, but it's become much more than that now. It's where I belong. I'm really good at it. Can't you understand? I have this really interesting case now. A man stabs himself in front of 500 witnesses, and I'm going to prove it was murder. No, I don't know who did it, but I will. Count on it.
Barrett's not even in the ground yet.
He ain't going in the ground. They cremated him. Gonna have the services on the stage. A bunch of heathens, if you ask me.
Well, you know what they say. The show must go on.
Why?
Chief, I've got a very strong hunch. I know in my gut it's that prop guy Callahan. He had motive, opportunity, the whole enchilada. And that hotshot broad is jerking my chain.
I came down here to look into the death of Mr. Barrett and to help in the investigation, if I can. Not to jerk your chain, Sergeant. If I may, I'd like to do it with as much dispatch as possible. Now, Sergeant, I really do appreciate the fact that you've managed to survive 35 years at the forefront of police work. But if I may, I'd like to explain my procedure. I reconstruct the crime by visualizing...
I've known some long-winded chatterboxes in my time, but I never heard anybody yakety-yak like that Berkowitz dame. She could talk more and say less than any Philadelphia lawyer.
Jam the mechanism of the supposed murder weapon. I let science interpret what I have observed. The lab tells us that the button was cut from the costume with a sharp instrument, probably a pair of scissors. It was not torn off or caught in the scabbard accidentally, as was originally supposed, and as the perpetrator wanted us to believe. Because the button was covered with cloth, no fingerprints were found. However, a very small amount of hand lotion was found. Now, the victim used only cold cream to remove his makeup. No hand lotion was found on his hands or in his effects. So you see, by approaching the problem in this manner, no guesswork is involved, certainly no hunches. This is to keep you up to date on what we have so far. The prop man Callahan is high on the list, Sergeant. He could be the one, but I wouldn't arrest him just yet. Say, have you had lunch?
I'm not very hungry.
How about you, Chief? Yeah. Well, maybe next time.
She probably does crossword puzzles in ink.
So the autopsy didn't turn up anything we didn't already know. Thanks. Yes, this is a pretty conservative place. Say, could you get me a line on a show business expert? Somebody who'd know something about Shakespearean festivals, that sort of thing? Oh, you do. Harlan C. Winters? What's the number?
got it. Thanks, Bill. Get back to me if you find out anything else on that stuff we sent you. Bye.
May I help you?
I don't know. What did you have in mind?
What did I have in mind? Let me introduce myself. I'm Beaumont Fletcher. I'm the leading actor around here.
I'm Barbara Jean Berkowitz. I'm the leading cop around here.
Frederick Keene Barrett. Freddie, to his friends, once told me, referring to his profession, he was in a way a sculptor who carved in snow, that when the curtain came down, melted away. Freddie was mistaken about that. Anyone who ever saw him on the stage could never melt away the memory. I first met Freddie back in vaudeville.
There's something I want to show you, Inspector.
How come you're not out front with everyone else, Mr. Callahan?
He was a son of a bitch when he was alive, so what makes it any different 'cause he's dead?
You saw the lotion, that about sums it up.
Everyone in the company used the lotion except the victim. But don't worry, Sergeant. I'll find Barrett's killer.
I can't handle it anymore. You gotta get me off this case, Chief. That woman is driving me over the edge. I wouldn't take that crap from any man.
Calm down, Marvin, before you have a heart attack. Don't be such a narrow-minded misogynist.
What'd you call me?
Misogynist. It means woman hater.
How can you call me a woman hater? You know I've been married for 32 years.
Never mind. I've been reading over her reports. Fine piece of police work here. Anyway, the way she's going, she ought to have this thing wrapped up in no time. Things will be back to normal here in Red Wing. Besides, we got the governor looking over our shoulder on this one.
Excuse me, Mr. Towers around?
Well, his office is upstairs, first door on the right.
Thank you.
Sorry.
This is William Wingate, Officer Wingate.
Oh, call me Billy. Everybody calls me Billy.
Be forewarned if Officer Wingate is around. Watching where he's going isn't one of his main talents.
Come on, Officer Wingate.
Oops, sorry, Sarge.
Putz. There was a background investigation on Callahan about 6 months ago. His daughter died last year of an overdose of sleeping pills.
Says here the autopsy showed she was pregnant.
Yeah.
No note, no witnesses. She lived alone, wasn't married. Possible suicide.
Well, maybe Callahan thought Barrett was the daddy.
It was ruled an accident. This is Inspector Berkowitz, Minnesota State Police. I'd like to speak with Bill Doherty. Hi, Bill, BJ. Can you do something for me? Check on, in Springfield, Illinois, August of last year, OD death of girl, 19 years old, Name Shirley Callahan. If the case wasn't closed, they might not have disposed of all the tissue samples. See if the coroner kept anything. Also, she was pregnant. I'll need something run on the DNA of the fetus. I'll also get some hair and tissue samples from our suspects. Send them along for a match. Be a dear and put a rush on this, will you? Time is running out. Thanks, I owe you one.
Here's the rest of the stuff you wanted on the theater company.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Seems to me about everybody had some kind of an axe to grind with Barrett.
We will narrow it down, Sergeant, by a process of elimination until there is only one answer left, and that will be the answer. Elementary, what?
Yeah, sounds like Sherlock Holmes.
Pretty sharp, Dr. Watson. Holly Grant, the wardrobe girl, was an actress at the Ashland Festival. Didn't Callahan say something about Ashland when we interviewed him?
Yeah, believe you did.
Well, after what happened at Ashland, well, never mind. I guess it would have been the same anyway. Hey, I gotta go inside and set up for tonight's show. You know where I'm at if you need to ask me any more questions, okay?
I'm going to see an expert on Shakespearean festivals. You go see Mr. Callahan and check out Ashland. Here's the phone number of an attorney, expert at this kind of police brutality.
Yeah, lady. This is some kind of brutal, all right.
Not this. You were resisting arrest. I mean locking you in the trunk. Clear case of police brutality. Probably violated your civil rights, too. Are you men all right?
Why didn't you just shoot the SOB?
Oh, I don't carry a gun. I might hurt someone.
I didn't mean anything by it. All I meant is I was there at the same place where all those other people were too. You know, the theater world's a pretty small business, and you run into the same bastards all the time.
Nice view.
Yeah? You get above all the crap down there up here.
Heights don't seem to bother you?
No, I used to be a rigger on the big top, you know, the circus. Yeah, but then the union came along and tried to organize the roustabouts, and of course, the management wouldn't stand still for that, so goodbye big tops, goodbye rigger job.
How'd you get in the theater business?
Well, since I sided with the union on the circus deal, I was out of a job. So the union tried to find me something else. Got me a job doing props. I've been doing it ever since. Quite a change, but, you know, when you're a kid, you can make changes. Say, listen, I know I said I'd shake the hand of the guy that done in old Barrett, but that doesn't mean I did it. I didn't do it. And if I'd have done it, I'd have sure the hell done it where he'd have seen it coming right in his face. No, and I wouldn't have used my own prop knife either. I'm not that stupid. I mean, come on.
Well, just don't bail out of town without letting us know.
Listen up, Mr. Garachki, the company.
Garachki. Sasha?
We're honored. When we all heard Jonathan had acquired your services to direct, well, we're just ecstatic.
Ecstatic?
That Barrett's new replacement?
No, that's Chudnow Garachki, the famous European director.
Oh, what a business.
Hold in your hand this. Our previous engagement. On time to rehearsal is 15 minutes early. Sasha? Now, imagine. This is the truth pill. Now, all of you, swallow the truth pill. 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 You cannot tell a lie. For this is the true method. This is not Stanislav. This is not Chekhov. This is not
Strasbourg?
that wimp. This is the one true method. The Garachki method. The method, the truth pill for the art of the actor.
What do you think of our little company getting a world-famous director?
Believe. The truth pill is taking effect. It consumes you, all emotions. It makes you whole. Now, begin again.
Nay, come again, good Kate. I am a gentleman.
That I'll try.
That's some method.
Good morning. My name is Petruchio. Your name is Kate, I've heard.
Well, have you heard but are hard of hearing? They call me Catherine that do speak of me.
You lie, in faith, for you're called plain Kate, or Bonnie Kate, or Kate the Cursed. But Kate, the prettiest Kate in all of Christendom, Kate of Kate Hall, my super dainty Kate. Take this of me, Kate, of my consolation. Hearing thy mildness praised in aberration, thy virtues spoke of, and thy beauty sounded, yet not so deeply as to thee belongs. Myself am moved to woo thee for my wife.
Moved? In good time let him who moved you hither remove you hence. I knew you at the first. You were immovable.
Why? What's immovable?
A footstool.
Thou hast hit it, come sit on me.
Asses are made to bear, and so are you.
Women are made to bear, and so are you.
No jade such as you of me, you mean.
Come, come, you wasp. I think you are too angry.
If I be waspish, best beware my sting.
Ow! My remedy, then, is to pluck it out.
Aye, if the fool can find where it lies.
Not where a wasp does wear his sting, in his tail.
In his tongue?
Whose tongue?
Yours, if you speak of tails. So farewell.
What? With my tongue in your tail?
Oh.
Nay, come again, good Kate. I am a gentleman.
That I'll try.
I swear I'll cuff you if you strike again.
Perhaps there is too much truth in that pit.
I should say so.
Mr. Winters, I just called you. I'm Inspector Berkowitz.
Ms. Berkowitz, yes, I think I've got some things in the back that'll help us. Let me just put the cat down. Berkowitz, in relation to that Congressman Berkowitz who got shot?
Yes, he was my father.
That was a tragedy. Never did catch the fellow who shot him, did they?
No, they didn't, Mr. Winters. What I need to know from you is anything I can about the Shakespeare Festival in Ashland, Oregon, especially the summer of 1978.
Oh, I think I've got some programs over here. Yeah, here's one from 1978. I believe both Barrett and his wife, Charlotte Hamilton, were in it. Yeah, here it is. He played Hamlet, and would you believe she played Ophelia?
There's a circle around this name, Tony Cancino. Why is that?
Tony Cancino. I do remember something. I think he was killed.
This is Inspector Berkowitz of the Minnesota State Police. Can I speak with whoever is in charge? Oh, I'm sorry. You're in charge. Captain Hawkins. I want whatever information you can give me on the actor who died accidentally in the Shakespearean Festival back in 1978, in June.
Yeah, I was on that. Been on the force only a short time. Even with so little experience, I couldn't believe a guy could fall on a sword like that. I mean, that thing was jammed through his throat with 2 feet of it sticking out the other side. Accidental death. What with 2 eyewitnesses, although one pretty drunk at the time, and nothing to say it wasn't an accident. I mean, no fingerprints on the sword except the dead guy's. But nobody challenged it. See, he didn't have any family. Sat in the box at the morgue for a couple of weeks before he found a cousin back east who came out and claimed the body. So with nobody who gives a shit, why spend time on something that, well, you know, one actor more or less, no big loss. Yeah, you're welcome.
We got an appointment with the governor.
Chief Iverson, was it really an accident?
I cannot tell you anything at this time. However, we do have evidence it was not an accident.
What about you, Miss Berkowitz? What can you tell us?
No comment.
Sergeant Hines, you're local man in this case. What can you tell us?
How about fuck off?
Marvin?
The latest on the Shakespeare murder in Red Wing. Still no word from Chief Iverson, and only a no comment from super sleuth B.J. Berkowitz, the Minnesota State Police's top homicide investigator. The governor sent her down from the Capitol to help the local police in the investigation. The governor needs his highly publicized case solved, running on a law and order platform with the election only days away, and the polls showing only a fraction of a point separating him from the nearest opponent. Well, Governor, the clock is ticking.
Thanks, Chief. You saved my derrière.
We have 24 hours to wrap this up. Don't thank me, you can thank Marvin there. He's the one that told the governor you have this thing just about solved.
Don't thank me. I just don't like those baby-kissing politicians telling us how to do our job.
Yeah, let me talk to one of the cops on the Barrett thing. Yeah, evidence. Tell him I just remembered something that might help him out. I remembered you coming out of the prop room. You was the only one besides me who could have screwed up the Dagger before Barrett went on stage. Funny how I got the time mixed up. Yeah, you know I took the pledge. I don't use that stuff no more. Oh, what the hell?
Fletcher, you had this plan all wrong, right? First Freddie, then me. Get out of my sight!
She's over the edge. Well, irrational to say the least. I'm not sure she can go on.
Jonathan, dear, please don't listen to that nervous Nellie. You know how Bobby worries so. Yes, dear, that's what makes her one of the best stage managers in the business. I'm quite all right. It was just one of those minor attacks I get when my blood sugar Well, you know, it was a temporary thing and it's over. You know Lady Macbeth is my favorite. I won't let you down, sweetie. When will you be back? I miss you now, especially with no Freddie. Love you. Bye.
Check his pulse.
Yeah, Sarge, nothing.
Shortens our list. Guess it ends his membership in AA. Any witnesses, kid?
Yeah, that Miss Grant. She was coming out of the door right when he hit. She's pretty shook up.
Did anyone else see it?
No, no one else was in the building. At least that's what she said. Of course, a lot of people have keys.
Who called it in?
The guy that runs the place, Dow's. He arrived right after it happened. So did that manager, that stage manager.
Did you report this?
Yeah. Must have got here a few minutes after it happened. The lady was over there staring. Froze from the shock, I guess. She couldn't say anything. Froze. So I ran in and called the cops. The police. We're right across the street from them. Got here real quick. What's gonna happen next? It's one thing after another. From now on, it's the Beach Boys and the Kingston Trio. I'm not booking any more Shakespeare.
Thank you. What happened?
I was getting some work done. I didn't realize it was so late. Sometimes I lose track of time. I came outside and, oh, Mr. Callahan, it made an awful sound like, oh dear. Did I finish mending his shirt? I don't remember. He asked me if I would mend his shirt.
Trailblazers with the ball and the lead. 70-50, they lead the Timberwolves by 20 points. Just
I
underway,
figured it
second
couldn't
half
get any
here in
worse.
Portland tonight.
It was too late to take back what I said to the governor, so I might as well take it easy. I'll sure as hell have plenty of time to feed the Ducks if this case isn't cracked pretty damn quick.
Not sure whether Christian's so upset about the foul or if it had messed up his hair on that play. Inbounds pass by. Drexler goes to Porter out front. Trailblazers get their offense rolling again. In the left corner, that's Robinson. Back out front, it goes to Porter. Porter guarded by Michael Williams. Gets it inside to Robinson. Little turnaround over Leitner is up and good. Trailblazers by 22, 72-50. Timberwolves inbound it. Williams will bring it up court right side. Now centers it between the circles. Swings it around left corner. It goes to Ryder. Ryder back out front to Doug West. West swings it around right side to Leitner. Leitner can't hang on to it. He has it stolen by Porter. Porter up court. It goes to Drexler. Lays it up and in. Trailblazers by 24. Get a tourniquet out and stop this bleeding. As Portland is just simply running away with this ball game tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They lead by 26 points.
Big mistake losing Russell. They don't have a true point guard anymore to run the offense.
He was okay. But I wouldn't turn my backs on the Wolves just yet. They do best when their backs are against the wall. Hey, do you remember that '89 season? Oh, we kept getting hammered in the front court. Couldn't do anything right. All hell breaks loose and we get that first three-pointer. And
something just doesn't jive. And what did Callahan know that would be important enough to get him killed? When he phoned the police station, he was interrupted by the murderer. That's a certainty.
when Callahan came off the roof, the Hamilton woman was at the motel, according to the manager. And we've eliminated everybody except Fletcher.
Fletcher may have been trying to blackmail Barrett, all right, but it's not a strong enough motive to kill him. Even if Fletcher thought Barrett would go to the police, he could just deny it. It doesn't wash. The risk's too great.
Not necessarily. Fletcher may have had some other reason besides the advancement of his career. And he doesn't have an alibi when Callahan did that double gainer.
This one. Sister Patricia. This one was so uncertain about what happened back in Ashland. She's hiding something.
You trying to tell me a nun would lie?
I'm going to see Sister Patricia again. Holly, the wardrobe girl, when she told me about the others in Ashland, she said something about Patricia. Here it is. Here, Patricia was a bit odd. She had defied her parents to become an actress. Then after Tony Cancino died, she had a nervous breakdown and left Ashland before the festival was over. Later, we heard she'd entered a convent to become a nun. When I asked her if Patricia were having an affair with Tony and that was perhaps what triggered the breakdown, she laughed.
Are you kidding? The only person that Tony was interested in was Freddie. Tony definitely did not go for girls. And as for Patricia, I didn't, and I don't think anyone else ever saw her with a boy or a girl in that way. She did sort of follow Charlotte around. Charlotte is a strong, domineering type, and Patricia was sort of timid. Not at all your usual theater person.
No, it's Fletcher. I don't think he thought anybody would question an accident. If Callahan didn't just get drunk and fall, he found out something, and Fletcher had to kill him too. Besides, Lady Hamilton thought Fletcher was playing Othello that night.
Of course! You're a genius! The wrong man got killed.
What?
Don't do anything drastic till I get back, please. We've got our 2 prime suspects under surveillance.
Sure. Billy's on stakeout now.
Believe me, Charlotte, I did not kill your husband. Be reasonable. As long as we're working
Look,
together.
one word from me to Jonathan in your history. The only reason why you're still here is because I wanted you to stick around until the police found out who did it. And if they say you had anything to do with Freddie's death, they don't need to waste the taxpayers' money on a trial because I'll find...
Hey, take it easy. You know me. I couldn't do that.
Just do your job up on stage. Stay away from me the rest of the time, Mr. Fletcher.
Shades of Richard III trying to seduce the widow before the corpse is cold.
Now centers it between the circles. Swings it around left corner, it goes to Ryder. Ryder back out front to Doug West. West swings it around right side to Leitner. Leitner can't hang it.
Oh, yeah. I thought maybe Callahan killed Barrett because he got the girl pregnant. Then I thought maybe the Hamilton dame killed her husband because she caught him fooling around with a Callahan girl. That's what I thought at first.
What did you think at first?
That Callahan killed Barrett. Are you paying attention? Well, then listen up. The girl kills herself because Fletcher gets her pregnant.
But why didn't she get an abortion?
She's Catholic. It's against the rules.
But I thought it was a mortal sin for a Catholic to commit suicide.
Well, maybe Fletcher killed her. Oh, my God. That's it.
But Fletcher was in Alaska. Everybody said so.
That's just an alibi. An alibi. He flies back, calls her, gets her to meet him by telling her that he's going to do the right thing by her, kills her, flies back to Alaska, and nobody's the wiser. That's it. That is it. Only Barrett finds out, so he's got to get rid of him, too. But he needs a patsy.
Patsy?
A fall guy, somebody to take the rap. So he plants incriminating evidence.
Yeah, right. Only, who's he gonna incriminate?
Callahan, of course. Will you tune in? Only Callahan finds the evidence first. He's gonna call the cops, but before he can get to us, the killer stops him, so... Bye-bye, Callahan. Kid, I bet if I shake up old Silver-Tongue Fletcher, he's gonna pop like a warm beer. Understand?
I've told you everything I know about Ashland. It's important that you help us. A person's life has been taken by another, and the wrong person may be made to pay for this man's death. You can help us to know the truth, to make the right decision, and not take the freedom and maybe even the life from an innocent human being.
But what can I tell you? I've been here for more than 13 years. I haven't left this place.
Tell me, please. You wouldn't want to be responsible for a terrible miscarriage of justice, would you?
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Oh God! I can see it in her eyes. The hate. Charlotte told me she'd tell my parents that we were lovers. That I wasn't the pious daughter they thought. She'd tell them that I was a pervert, a lesbian. She said she knew because I had made love to her. She knew it would break my parents. It was bad enough that I had left home to be in the theater. But to be an abomination in God's eyes, I didn't know. All I knew was that I loved her. She made me help her drag Tony to the edge of the bank. And after she wiped off the handle of the sword, forced Tony's dead fingers around it, then I helped push him over the side.
What did Charlotte do then?
What?
What happened then?
Charlotte went back to the party and told them that Tony had fallen over the bank.
Hurry up, man. Curtain's going up. Hold your horses, man. The cop had Callahan's keys. Hey, you got an IA card? An IA card? Yeah, are you a member of the Stagehands Union? But the curtain's going up. I'm reporting this. You can't go into no union prop man's box. Oh, God, another Callahan. Dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, yet I see thee still. Yet I see thee still.
Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling, as to sight? Or art thou a dagger of the mind, a false creation?
Out, damn Spot, out, I say. 1, 2. Now 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie, a soldier yet afeared. What weird need we fear, who knows it, when none can call to power our account? Yet who would have thought the old man did yet have so much blood in him? Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh.
Make sure they get tucked in for the night.
All of them?
No. Just Fletcher and the Hamilton dame.
Sergeant Hines is at the theater. You got the number. Call him if Miss Berkowitz calls in. It looks like, well, he's gonna bust that Beaumont Fletcher. Looked like Mr. Fletcher was about to take a hike.
Sergeant Hines just called from his car. The phones are all dead south of here. He has a radio in his car, but you'd better take him this. It was Fletcher. The DNA report just came in. He got the Callahan girl pregnant.
Yeah, I better get back over there.
Going somewhere?
Where's Sergeant Hines?
He's over at the theater. He's gonna put the collar on Fletcher.
Shit, why?
Oh, it looked like he was about to run and that DNA test came back. It's Fletcher.
Go to the front.
Hey! Jesus! I was just getting my stuff together. Show closes tomorrow night. I was just getting a head start on packing.
You killed Barrett, and I know it.
No. I know we killed that guy Cancino years ago, and I was trying to use it to get equal billing, but I didn't do it.
Barrett was going to tell us about your blackmail scheme. You had to snuff him.
Oh, Jesus. Who would kill a guy over there? Gee.
We can prove you got Callahan's little girl pregnant. Did you kill her, too?
No, you're nuts. I was in Alaska at the time. I didn't even hear about it for months. I didn't even know she was pregnant. Have you and that Berkowitz dame ever thought that Hamilton was trying to get me? Shit. She thought I was going to play Othello that night. It's obvious. What kind of moron would kill his own meal? What?
Easy.
Don't worry, Sergeant. Charlotte's not going to shoot anyone. Give me the gun.
Chief looking to dispatch.
Billy! The sergeant's been shot!
I'm coming, Sarge!
Calling all cars! Calling all cars! I always wanted to say that. Get over to the Sheldon Theater. Sergeant Hines has been shot.
10-4.
Someone shot the Neanderthal?
Round up the usual suspects.
Where's BJ?
She went after the Duchess of Doom.
Is she nuts? She doesn't carry a gun.
Hello? That's okay, Molly. Calm down. Okay, I'll be right there. Well, Connie, we're gonna have to finish this book another time.
Hamilton's got my 357. Billy, get up there. I know she thinks she can do it all, but she ain't bulletproof, I don't think. Go!
Do it, Charlotte. You need help. I can help you.
Down, Strutters!
It was as if a different person took over his entire being and used it as an instrument to kill.
Yeah, Hamilton. She killed her husband by accident, but she sure as hell meant to drop Fletcher and me.
Well, Marvin, congratulations. You broke the case wide open.
No, I didn't. It was BJ. The best damn cop I've ever seen.
And you're the bravest damn cop I've ever seen.
Say, you must be the leading medic around here. I'm the leading actor. What are you doing later?
Be still. We'll have you fixed up in a minute.
There's another one over there.
Oh no, what's gonna happen next? We're sold out tonight. Who's gonna play Lady Macbeth?
Who'd the chief put you with?
Mike.
Good young guy.
Everybody decent? Hi, Billy. Hi, Sergeant.
Willie?
Here's the stuff you wanted out of your in bin. A couple of items got put in George's bin by mistake. You know he's been out all week with the flu.
Yeah.
Chalk it up to pilot error. Oh, yes. Here's something from your lady friend.
Ms. Berkowitz? All right, box seats to the wolves. Lucky. Well, I better get back. With all the action that's been going on around here, I'm behind in my paper shuffling. Hurry up and mend. You're missed at work. We got nobody to bitch about.
I gotta go too. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. I'm working nights now. You need anything?
Yeah. Bring my radio. Wolves are on a roll. Kid, if that new partner of yours gives you a rough time, just tell him he's going to have to deal with a Neanderthal.
Oh, they don't call you that anymore. They call you Sir Galahad, on account of you saving that lady cop. I looked it up. He was a guy who went around saving damsels in distress. That's what she was, wasn't she? A damsel in distress?
Yeah.
I was proud to. It was nice riding with you.
I had to stop by. Couldn't leave without checking out my partner. I learned something really important from you, Marvin.
Are you kidding? With all the degrees that you have? Hey, I couldn't teach you a thing.
No. I mean about being human. About looking at only the outside of a person. About not seeing. Well, take it from somebody who found out it takes more than degrees to make a good cop.
BJ? Thanks. Greetings. Please see that whoever is investigating the death of Frederick Keene Barrett receives this document.
I, Frederick Keene Barrett, do truly and faithfully attest to the fact that 15 years ago in Ashland, Oregon, I was responsible for the death of Anthony Cancino. I also confess to lying to the police as to how his death occurred. I also wish to clear up any misunderstandings as to my own end. I am entirely responsible for my own death. Lately, like some character in an ancient Greek play, the Furies, the Fates, whatever guilt-induced entity, it made my life impossible to endure. I have just found the mechanism in the trick dagger I use in the play is jammed. Whether by accident or design, I do not know. It doesn't matter. If it was tampered with, I do not wish whoever did this to suffer as I have. I bid you all a farewell. I'm off to my last performance and to Hamlet's undiscovered country.
Frederick Keene Barrett. Ooh. Definitely a 3D pointer. Yeah. Well, that's all. Except BJ got elected to the district her father used to represent, so it's Congresswoman Berkowitz now. And Chief Iverson's her new Attorney General. Billy is with that actress May Collins. A meaningful relationship, they call it now. In my day, it was shacking up. That Fletcher guy is on a soap opera called A Woman's World, so he must be in hog heaven. Holly Grant's the leading lady for the Shakespeare troupe. Bobby Stern, stage manager, bought the theater company from Hess. Warfield, the company drunk, running a rehab center for alkies up in Duluth. Michael Mason has a TV show talking about all movies. Molly's still shuffling papers, and me, I'm feeding the ducks and rooting for the wolves.